you're doing it after the fact.
It's all reactive. We're not proactive. It's these doctors. And I think that the government legislators are trying to get a hold on these doctors and on the pharmaceutical companies. And that's another long road. I mean,
So is that something you could do a public education?
we can do all kinds of public education. Yeah, we can. Yeah,
Can I
we
address
can.
that also?
Okay.
I was a psych major in college, and we did a lot of volunteer programs with, down at the State Mental Hospital. My favorite stint was 2 years in the maximum security ward for criminally insane adults. Back in those days, before we had school shootings and mass shootings at concerts and everything else, there was a lot less drugs, there was a lot more counseling. They don't bother to counsel anymore. Everybody we've become a detached society from other people for the most part. I think that counseling works better than medication.
I do too. And they closed the state hospital. They closed the state mental hospital.
Here,
Yeah.
Oh,
in Pueblo.
this was in Missouri.
Okay, yeah. So,
It's still there.
Like
Yeah.
if you're doing public education, that might help parents understand or the kids understand.
right. And that is us as a society that we need to come
And then you
together.
can start prosecuting the doctors who are overprescribing.
Right. And the detached, we're a detached society, like you said, from our kids. My wife and I went to dinner, and not only kids, adults, a couple,
Exactly.
sitting at the table. You got your phone, I got my phone, that's all we're doing. Girls, ladies in here probably, ladies in here probably didn't do this, but most of us played cops and robbers when we were little, right? Cowboys and Indians.
Cowboys and Indians.
Cowboys and Indians, okay? It's come up a lot too. I shot you, no you didn't. You're dead, no. And we get in a fight, right? We punch and that'd be over and we go on. Tomorrow we'd be best buddies again. What happened to those days? What happened to those days? Your dad had a rifle, 30-30 probably, lever action in the back window of his pickup. Your dad probably just like that, right? Had guns in the window, never even thought about touching them.
He didn't, but I did.
Yeah. And then 20, you probably had a 22 rifle when you were 10 years old. Probably had a 12-gauge shotgun before you were 15. And responsible. You never thought about going out and shooting anybody. We're detached as a society.
Yes,
Okay?
we are. Exactly.
I never had Facebook until this election, and I don't like it. Facebook, man, oh man. And if you do ask me a question, I do apologize. I do. I work in Adams County. I'll give you just real quick. I work graveyard so I can coach. I dedicate my life, and I took a lot of time away from my own family, from my wife, my kids, to coach your kids, your grandkids. I've been doing it since 2002. I work graveyard. I've been in the graveyard for 8 years, and I work 9 months out of the year on a graveyard shift just so I can coach. People think you're crazy because I go to work. I leave my house here in Berlin at 7:30. Go to work, and I start at 9. I get up at 7 in the morning. Work a 10-hour shift. Last couple of years, I've stopped to help my dad who had a stroke. He lives in Thornton, so I stop there every day. I get home usually about 1 o'clock. Make me a lunch. I go to wrestling practice, either high school, middle school. A month ago, I had both high school, middle school, and my youth club. And so I would go to practice and usually get home about 7 o'clock to take a shower to get back to work again. So the Facebook thing's killing me because I can't get on there. I can't do Park County election paperwork on Adams County time. Otherwise, I'd be unemployed. But I apologize if I don't get to all your questions. I forgot what to tell you.
All right, can I?
But yeah.
Go ahead. I'm gonna backtrack a bit. When we were talking about budgeting, after the Nate Kerrigan incident, quote unquote, Jeannie Boyd, who does a lot of community things up here, did a fundraiser for the sheriff's department for equipment, specifically for equipment, to buy new equipment for the guys. The concert raised $23,000 the other night. Unfortunately, there was no requirement by the sheriff's department when she gave them the money to respond with how they spent the money. But it is, to a certain degree, the community's responsibility to support their local law enforcement.
Right. And know where the money's going.
If they did 1, 2 concerts a year, that's enough for another deputy on
Exactly.
duty. And everybody has a great time. It costs them, what, $10?
Right.
There were opportunities like that to explore that have never been explored by the department, or, you know, this is what we need, is the community willing to do something to help us out, whatever.
Right.
Nothing, never.
And
That
I
I,
think the
in
community
the
would
30
jump
years
on
I've been
that.
up here.
They would jump on it. I think they would jump on it. After Deputy Gum, he was Adams County deputy, not the last one that was shot, but I worked that as well. I was a lead investigator for Deputy Gum, the Adams County deputy that was shot. And right after that, Channel 2 and I think 31 come up with a fundraiser, and they're providing safety equipment for law enforcement. And I don't know if they're taking advantage of that. The military has surplus items.
I'm not sure they took advantage of it when we raised the money
Yeah.
for that specific thing.
Right. There's a lot of options out there, a lot of things that we're not taking advantage of.
Exactly.
And I will, as your sheriff, I will take advantage of every possibility. As state troopers, you know, anything we could do, the military would provide us with VDUs, all of our military style rifles, all from the military surplus.
And you can't know everything. It's gotta be partly back on the community to say, hey, we wanna do this, or hey, did you hear about, you know, some special thing that they're doing for officers down at whatever.
Right.
You know, it's like everything else, it's gotta be a two-way communication.
Right. And our pay, Hendrick, is again, we can't compare Park County with Jefferson County. You know, let me correct myself there, just so you know that Jefferson County is huge. Department's a lot bigger, their resources are outstanding. But Teller County, Chaffey County, and probably not Fremont County, they're a lot bigger, Canyon City. But we need to be very comparable to their benefits, and that's what I'm gonna fight for, okay? Again, start of the budget, start at what we already have. I don't feel that it's right. We gotta get the trust back. I don't trust law enforcement. I don't trust the investigation they did with Maggie Long. I don't believe they're lying to the community, okay? You all know that. There's a body found. Well, the coroner was already there. We know there's a body. And I answered that question in pretty in-depth. The Vern McAllister had asked a question. I'm tired of the candidates avoiding this question. So I answered it. I gave, I think, 15 points of, hey, this is what should have been done. Why wasn't it done? I'm not afraid to talk about that. I'll probably hear about it. I'll give you an example. I hung a sign as you go into Berlin Ranch yesterday. Today it's gone. I'm the outsider, okay? They don't want change. The only two changes gonna be is either Tom McGraw, Gary Rhodes. Tom McGraw's only been here a short time. Don't know a whole lot about Tom. Saw his resume, a lot of experience, a lot of training. I'd like to meet him, but he's only been here a short time. I've been here 18 years. I'm not going anywhere. I care about my community. I care about you. I care about, you know, my family. My concerns are yours. And believe me, I'll answer any question you have. I bet we're on the same track. We might have a little bit of discretion or a little bit of disagreement, but I bet for the most part we're going to agree. Our concern is the community.
Can I tell my Gary Rhodes story?
Just 1 second. The trust. I don't feel comfortable coming to the community, to the county, and say, hey, we need more money. I know my department, my sheriff's office is not trained. They're inexperienced. They got less than 2 years. But I want you to give me more money. I can't do that. I'm not going to pay any more taxes for the department I have. Nate Kerrigan, horrible. Mr. Worth, Corporal Kerrigan should still be alive. We shouldn't have lost either one of those guys that day. That is poor leadership. Monty Gore said he had nothing to do with it. Well, Monty Gore didn't do anything to not have anything to do with it. He did not say, don't do that, don't go in that house. He didn't do anything to stop that. He's the undersheriff. Hey, Fred, let's not do that. He didn't do any of that. Okay, so I blame Monty Gore too. He's not the innocent person he says he is. He's the sergeant. If my captain's making a wrong decision, I'm gonna say, hey, let's talk about that for a minute. Let's not do that yet. So let's see what else, what are our other options? Could have starved him out, turned the electricity off. He's not going anywhere, you know? My daughter has no law enforcement experience at all. She could have told you, we're not gonna go in there. If you take off running in the woods, I'm not gonna come running after you because you're gonna turn around and shoot me probably. You're gonna come out sometime or another. Or is it really that important that I catch you? Maybe the Cowboys? Park County Sheriff's Department's Cowboys. We're not gonna operate like that.
I had a friend that was on a murder trial in Boulder County many years ago, and they found the guy not guilty, and afterwards the judge pulled up the whole jury aside. He said, what you people did on the evidence was exactly right, found him not guilty. But if you ever want to commit a murder, do it in one of the little towns, because they'll screw everything up.
Right? That's the rumor of Park County. It's been that way for years.
Oh, it's so bad.
Yeah,
Because
yes.
I work a lot in Denver and Lee. it's embarrassing to me. Like, I think that the press conference they had for Maggie
It's a
Long the
joke.
other day was a joke.
Yes.
And then you go down and people are like, oh, you live in Bailey?
Yeah.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Like, they're, you know, and it's like, you don't want anyone to think that about the
Right,
place you
right,
live.
it's embarrassing, I
It
agree.
is.
I work Adams County, I cover from Children's Hospital, north of Colfax, everything on the north side of Colfax, all the way to Bennett, Strasburg, all the way to Weld County, I cover some of Arvada, Westminster, I deal with these big agencies all the time. And I ask all the time, hey, how do you guys buy your guns? And I got ideas on that too, and it's gonna be on video. But, right now, Park County's spending a lot of money on their guns, I think they spend about $32,000 on guns. I did not know that. I didn't know that they had bought guns for the deputies.
How much have they spent on vehicles over the last few years?
Well,
Well, there's a new one.
yeah, I think they're buying one vehicle for $32,000. Their vehicles are horrible. And Fred joked about that at the last committee meeting that I was on 2 weeks ago. Well, yeah, our cars, this and that, and one of the commissioners said, yeah, I saw one on a tow truck. A deputy that I know fairly well told me he couldn't get to a call because his tires were bald, couldn't get up the hill, couldn't get to him. I had a meet and greet a couple weeks ago in Fairplay, and one of my supporters that lives in Guffey told me that it took 3 hours for them to get to a domestic violence call. 3 hours. Everyone has radios. You guys have radios here, the 800 radios that you can monitor. Becky does. I mean, you can listen to this. Unprofessional, huge liability. 3 hours. You know, whether it's the woman being beat, the man being beat, they're probably gonna be dead. And that's huge. That's a lawsuit. That's a lawsuit.
Oh, I'll tell you how stupid it is. I turned in someone that I know is a drug dealer, and I gave the location, and I gave the license plate number of someone that actually bought drugs from this person. And they're so poorly trained that the deputy shows up, parks right by the guy's place that's dealing the drugs. I mean, it's so stupid. And he comes out of his house and says, "What are you doing here?" And the deputy says, "I'm watching for illegal activity."
Oh, I believe it.
And in the area where this car was parked, we have an arena. What is a cop car doing parked there? Go park at your neighbors and watch this guy's
Yeah.
house. I turned the guy
That's
in.
poor
They were
training.
actually trying to catch him, but they were so stupid about doing it that now he knows that that he's on the radar. And I'm like,
Poor
oh,
training.
why did I
Again.
turn him in?
Again, it's gonna
Because
start
now
with,
he knows.
yes, ma'am, you had a question?
Well, undersheriff, you've been talking about the undersheriff's position. What are you looking for? How are you looking for them?
I'm looking for a highly educated, well-trained individual, somebody that has the same desire as I do, to provide safety to our community, to be a positive role model, somebody who's gonna get involved, community policing. Sorry, you're up, Gary. Hi. Hello. Come on, have a seat. Doug.
Sorry, didn't know what the, thought kind of a informal thing there, sorry about that.
I always wear a suit too. You know, well, I went to Guffey, I didn't, but usually I like to be dressed appropriately. I think somebody that has the same desire and will to change this county, to make this county a very safe place for all of us. Again, educated, trained, experienced, and again, community policing based, that's gonna get out in the community. Mr. Gore, I don't believe ever came to Bailey. Me as the sergeant for state patrol, I covered the entire county, and I'll agree, I didn't spend as much time in Fairplay, but I was in Fairplay. I actually had all the RE1, RE2 schools all apply for a state patrol scholarship. That scholarship is actually, I presented it to a Fairplay High School student. And again, I coached Fairplay, or excuse me, I coached Platte Canyon School District. I actually coached Doug's son even. But again, Monty Gore, I don't think I've ever seen him in Bailey. And somebody that's gonna get out and not sit behind the desk, that's not our job. Our job is to get out, protect, serve the community. And right now, I don't have a specific person picked. Are you interested? Oh,
I have a question,
Careful what you ask
Yeah.
for.
but we can talk salary after. If you were elected, what types of crime would you prioritize pursuing as the sheriff?
So when you say crime, again, marijuana is a huge issue right now, okay? And whether you agree with it, and I'll tell you, I don't agree with all laws. I don't agree with all the laws. But, you know, the drug trafficking, you know, I told you about the little high school student I had that got into drugs. And that's horrible, you know, and I think a lot of it was intimidation by an adult, whether he had threatened him, but there's other things that come into play there. But anyways, we lost him. My priority is a safety and secure environment for our entire county. And whether that is the drug trafficking, and if you don't know about that, there's a lot of drugs going through here. We had the house blow up here in Berlin with the illegal hash oil.
Can I say something about that real quick? He doesn't want me to go into it. I just want you to know, there are neighbors, that house. I
Okay.
called on that house at least 10 times, just so you know. That there was some, cause you would drive by and like, there's nobody ever there and you could just smell. I'm like, I'm down here, my car windows are up and I can smell it, something's going on.
Right.
You know, and there's just weird activity over there. And, yeah, and not just me, like other neighbors too.
Right,
But
right,
they
and I live in
never-
that subdivision.
Never even checked
But-
it out.
And I had one next to me that I called numerous times. Same thing.
I never
Yeah.
checked
It didn't blow up. And eventually, the people left. But I never once saw a deputy of any sort come after I had made that
Right.
phone call.
Right?
I
So-
had,
Do you respond to?
Oh, yes.
Her know, I
Yeah.
mean, not only respond to her, but I mean, to let her know what's going on.
Exactly, yeah, and then I would go there, this is the other issue we have, but I'm gonna answer your question. I don't go there and say, well, your next door neighbor here told me that you're having that's what they're doing now.
Well, you know what, I know that's true, because after, it wasn't on that one, I called in because this deputy was sleeping every day behind a barn. And I saw him every day I went up the road.
See there?
And I
It's
called,
frustrating, isn't it? I'm
It
like
is.
you, I'm a citizen, I see it in the ball field every
and
day.
I called and I called and I called. That deputy, they must have told who was told, because then he started harassing me.
Yes, that's wrong.
And every time he
You should
saw
be
me
fired.
on the road, he stopped me.
Right,
It didn't
Yeah.
make any difference
yeah, that's
what,
wrong.
that I was doing nothing.
Right,
So,
right, that's wrong.
I know that the things are told that shouldn't be
Yeah,
told,
and I know that happens, that's why I brought that up, exactly, exactly.
because
So when we report something, does our name remain anonymous?
Yes, it does, it does.
But it doesn't now.
It doesn't now.
Because
It
I've
doesn't
gotten
now.
phone calls at work.
Right, that's wrong,
Right.
that's wrong, right, right. That puts your livelihood in danger, your family. So when I worked for State Patrol, not here in Park County, but in Jefferson County, we had a very large area, and we actually assigned areas to patrol, and they rotated every month, and they're not doing that here. And so my job is to figure out our resources and how to deploy them where we're gonna be successful in deterring crime, whether the drug dealing, the shootings, whatever it may be. And by assigning the deputies to certain areas, they get to know that area. They get to know the people that live in that area. And then you go to the next area, you get to know those people. And you patrol that area. You're responsible for that area. And they're not doing that right now. You know, the keg shooting, those are deputies that were in Bailey that were overzealous and wanted to go break up a high school party to think they were cool. They were in Bailey, they were thrown over by the Teller County line. They had no business being over there. They were assigned over here. So that tells me if we had something big over here in Bailey happen, they're on the Teller County line. There's nobody here to protect us in Bailey. So I like to deploy the resources sufficiently and equally, and then rotate them on a monthly basis. Okay, I understand you live in Bailey. You probably know Bailey pretty good. But now when your coworker, deputy, is in Guffey and he's calling for help and you're the closest one, unfortunately you're hour and a half away. Do you know how to get to Guffey? Do you know how to get there? Do you know where he's talking about? Officer safety is very important to me as well. But again, when you say prioritize what laws I'm gonna enforce,
Well, actually, it was what do you think our crime problems are, categories of crime in Park County?
we got a lot. And if you don't know, maybe I'll surprise you. Anywhere from simple mail theft, okay, mail theft's a huge
A lot
issue,
of that.
okay, to a homicide, first degree murder. Well, it wasn't probably premeditated, but it was a homicide. So we got very simple break into vehicles. People go to your house, they see what's in your car, they take your stereo, they take your purse out of the car, they steal your mail. They have people that are living in their property illegally, They haven't paid the rent for 2 years. Going there to a victim, they threaten to kill you if you come back. That's a threat. He should have been arrested right there. Shouldn't even got to the next day. So when you say what, there's a lot